I now know that I was suffering from anxiety and depression my whole life without even knowing it. I had a poor self-image, I was angry, but passive-aggressive, I was ambitious, but my ambitions were thwarted, I hated the way I looked and I hated my job because I felt disrespected, low status, and in some ways felt the job was beneath me. It wasn't. I worked hard, but had a bad attitude and inferiority complex. I was starting to get bald patches, alopecia on my scalp and beard areas due to stress. I had visible eczema, psoriasis on my face, especially around the eyes. Physically, I was slim and somewhat toned naturally but weak and low energy. One day, I was already practicing retention at this point. I decided to fast and meditate until I got to the root of my problems once and for all. In my meditation, I entered a blissful state. It was low-key, like being on MDMA. I felt like I was experiencing happiness for the first time in my life. And it was such a relief as well because now I knew how much I had been suffering before. I realized that life isn't suffering, that's not how it's supposed to be. I realized I had been depressed, angry, negative, a doormat, passive-aggressive, narcissistic. I saw myself from a whole new perspective, and my whole life made so much more sense. I realized that I was responsible for my energy and my state of mind. All of this was on my second long streak. Then I ended up relapsing. When the pandemic happened, I later got I felt the heaviness of the world and lost myself. As it turned out, I had to process deeper traumas and darkness, and the time of isolation allowed me to relive and examine my whole life. Suffice to say, I got through it. And now I've made it 99 days again. This time there's no lingering anger or darkness bubbling up under the surface. I don't feel any urge to self-sabotage. Another big difference is I don't buy into the benefits too much and that I don't let it get to my head. I won't ever get complacent and think that I've become something special and can do whatever I want now. On the previous streaks, I got overconfident, put too much emphasis on socializing, appearance and dressing up, went out drinking, and abused alcohol. Semen retention made me very good at handling drink and not having hangovers, and I think this is partly what led to my downfall. I also got overconfident in thinking that I was good at retaining, and I could handle peaking at slightly softcore/NSFW images on Instagram, which is the start of a slippery slope. I have experienced the usual benefits: high energy, meditative bliss, not caring what people think, respect from colleagues, patients expressing more gratitude. I work in healthcare, increased eye contact, sometimes people doing a double take when they see me. Not sure if I'm just noticing people's micro movements and subtle body language a lot more, compliments about glowing skin, random compliments over nothing, people asking me if I'm taller. I'm not doing it for these kinds of benefits anymore necessarily, but I realize it motivates people to read about. I now live much more in the moment and don't really feel ambitious, in a dark, needy type of way. I appreciate my job and take responsibility for the fact that I chose to do it, and therefore it's my duty to give it my best while I'm there. All my skin problems and bald patches have long since healed completely.